Hey guys, how's it going? So I thought I would do, hopefully short Friday reads. I keep saying that these videos will be short, and they never turn out short, so who knows? But I will try to be concise. First off is, my biography of James Merrill. So this I was reading, or I'm still reading it. I didn't finish it by the end of March, which is too bad. I wanted to, but it's not. It's not. That's kind of not what March of the Mammoth is about. I mean, it's not. It's not about challenging yourself to finish all the books by March 31st. It's just about picking them up and making an effort and hopefully eventually getting through them. So I'm more than halfway. I will probably be about 60% of the way through when I'm done reading today. I may just end up taking the entire month of April to finish this, just because it's a biography, so there are slow-going parts, so not all of it is super gripping. The parts that are about James Merrill's poetry I really like. The parts that are about his writing life or his reading life, I really like. The parts where Langdon Hammer talks about opera, I really like, or where James Merrill is talking about opera in a letter or something. I'm really looking forward to the section where Langdon Hammer talks about James Merrill's writing of Changing Light at Sandover, because that's just a work that really fascinates me. So anyway, I'll just take this slowly, and we'll see when I finish it. I'm saying now I might take the whole month, but who knows, I might just plow my way through it earlier than that. But anyway, so I'm still working on this, I did say I was gonna make a conclusionary video to March of the Mammoth on Sunday, and then I made the opera book tag, because that's just sort of what I felt like doing, and so that didn't happen, so I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what I would have said would have been all that interesting anyway. So anyway, it was great. I loved March of the Mammoth. I think it was a great success. It really did for me. I'd be curious whether other people feel this way, but for me, it really did remind me just how awesome long books are. Just how awesome sort of getting sort of above your head in a book almost. Just being in over your head in a gigantic book is really fun. And I think March of the Mammoth just reminded me of that, and it made me want to read more long books. Although the rest of the books I have here aren't mammoth-sized. Although, I mean, they're not unsubstantial. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about, first I'll talk about a book that I finished this week. I finished it after working on it for a few months. I did talk about it earlier in the year on my channel. So anyway, it's The Poets Dante. It's edited by Peter Hawkins and Rachel Jacoff. So this is a collection of essays about Dante's Commedia, his Divine Comedy, and the essays are all by 20th century poets. So the idea is that, poets who've been influenced by Dante and have often referenced Dante in their own work will have great insights into Dante. That is true in some cases. Some of these essays were really interesting. There were definitely things that I learned about Dante that I didn't see before. Some of these essays really made me eager to go back and reread Dante, or at least reread parts of it, because there were just layers to some of the scenes in it, in the Divine Comedy, that I didn't see before, that these writers did. But the essays do get a bit repetitive, so the collection is divided in two. The first half is all essays by famous dead poets mostly. So like T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, James Merrill, Robert Duncan, Robert Fitzgerald, among others. W.H. Auden is in here. So that's the first half. The second half is living poets, and so the essays by the dead poets were taken from their body of work, so they were previously published in other volumes or journals or magazines, whereas the essays by the living authors were specifically commissioned for this book, and those tended to be much less insightful. Some of them could be fun because some of the authors would talk about sort of their personal relationship with Dante. How did they find Dante? When did they first read Dante? And how he struck them when they first read them. But others just got a bit repetitive. I get the sense that the more modern poets, they don't always have the sharp insight that the older poets do, just because perhaps they're less experienced. Perhaps, I mean, I don't know. The fact that the first half is by poets who are famous, sort of, I guess, suggests that those poets developed some sort of acumen, sort of were, I guess, pre-tested in a way by getting famous and being sort of already important poets in their own right. Which would suggest that they might have good insights. Whereas with the other poets, since they're still living and working, it's often unclear, how their poetic intelligence will stand up to the test of time, I suppose. So their insights into Dante might not be as interesting. I don't know whether that's true. I don't know what I just said, but anyway. Anyway, yeah, so this was uneven, as collections of essays tend to be. But I'm glad I read it. There certainly were, again, some really insightful essays. I really liked the essay by Robert Duncan. The essay by Osip Mandelstam that's in here is weird, but I really liked it. The essay by T.S. Eliot I liked, and some others. Some of the newer ones I liked too. The one by Robert Pinsky in particular was good. But anyway, yeah, so just wanted to give that a little plug. I did like it, but a mixed bag, I'd say. All right, now I have 3 buddy reads this month, and the first I'm going to talk about is I'm going to be buddy reading Haji Murad by Leo Tolstoy with Sean the Book Maniac. We're going to be pounding this out on the 3rd weekend of April is when we scheduled it, so I won't be reading this for a little while, but I just wanted to mention it as just to get it out there. If any of you know anything about Haji Murad, I'd love to hear ahead of my own reading of it, but I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't read any Tolstoy yet, and this seemed like a bit more accessible a place to begin than with War and Peace or Anna Karenina, and you can probably guess why. But also the story of this sounds really interesting. I'll talk more about it later, but it's about wars in Chechnya in the 1800s, and a warlord in that conflict, and it just sounds really interesting. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, that is a buddy read, and then the other 2 books that I have here are also both buddy reads. So the first is Virgil's Aeneid. I am reading it in this Alan Mandelbaum translation. It's kind of a beaten up mass market paperback, but excuse me. But Steve Donahue recommended this translation in his Western Canon starter kit, and I am really liking the translation. It is beautiful. So anyway, this is a buddy read with Elena Macredina and Crystal of Biblioatlas. Crystal has sort of tentatively joined us. I think she's on book 2 or 3 now. But anyway, Elena and I had planned this well in advance, and then Crystal kind of jumped on a whim. But anyway, I'm really liking this the second time around. I'm really getting a lot more out of it. This is my second time reading it, by the way. I didn't say that. I have read it once a couple of years ago, and I'm getting a lot more out of it this time. I don't think I quite... I think I enjoyed the sort of story of Dido and Aeneas, that whole tragic love story. I enjoyed that part, but most of the rest of it I didn't quite appreciate, and this time around I really am. Anyway, I'm going to be making a whole video about this, I think, so I won't go on too much longer here, but anyway, yeah, I'm really liking this time around. And then my last buddy read, anyway, it's the Odyssey, the Emily Wilson translation of the Odyssey. I am buddy reading this with Britta Bowler. Yeah, we also planned this well in advance. And right now, we're just, excuse me, about 60 pages in. Emily Wilson has a 90-page introduction to this volume. And so Britta and I wanted to take a week to sort of read that slowly and digest as much of that introduction as possible, because and I'm 60 pages into it now, because she's being very thorough. She's going through a lot of the thematic elements of the Odyssey, and I'm really enjoying the introduction. But anyway, we will start the Odyssey proper probably maybe Monday. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe Monday, I'm thinking, and we'll probably get through it pretty quickly, because for both of us, this is a reread. This is actually my third time reading the Odyssey. I read it once in high school, and then I read it again a couple of years ago, and now here I am. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I've heard really good things about this translation, and looking forward to talking about it with Britta. So anyway, yeah, so that is what I am reading. Yeah, I'm probably going to just chill out, read the rest of the day after uploading this video. Tomorrow I plan, hopefully, to watch Götterdämmerung, which is the fourth and final opera in Richard Wagner's Ring Cycle. I listened to Siegfried over the course of the week. I listened to it and followed along with the libretto, so I could get sort of the experience of the story along with the music. So I have Siegfried under my belt. I wish I had just watched a version of it on YouTube, because I think that would have been cooler. But anyway, I can't do it. I couldn't do it now because I would get bored, because I just experienced Siegfried as a libretto and as a musical experience. But anyway, I will be watching a version of Götterdämmerung from, I think, the 70s or 80s. It's on YouTube, and it looks like great production. It's from the Bayreuth Festival in Germany, which is I think an annual festival, which basically just celebrates Richard Wagner's music, and they do a lot of Ring Cycles, and this one particular version of the Ring Cycle looks really good, and I'm really looking forward to Götterdämmerung. I watched the last 20 minutes of Götterdämmerung once. It's called Brunhilde's Immolation Scene, and it was just stunning. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. Aside from that, I will read this weekend. And yeah, anyway, I think that's all I have to say. If any of you have thoughts on any of these books, as always, let me know. Let me know what you're reading, and I hope you all have a nice weekend. Let me know how your week was, how your Friday is going. And yeah, anyway, I will sign off, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.